Your thoughts, Shoshana?
Well, I thought it was interesting because she's held back till this point on making any comments about Egypt. And I know that she has foreign policy advisors. They're very good. They brief her. But I thought that she was pretty unprepared.
The city wouldn't respond directly to the family's concerns, but stressed that the sifting of this new material shows that they are fulfilling their promise to the families to try to identify as many World Trade Center victims as possible using the latest technology. At Fresh Kills, Shoshana Walsh, New York 1.
Steve Deace says he's likely to endorse sometime between now and Christmas. One person we know he won't back is Mitt Romney, but even he, like many GOP caucus goers in this state, is still undecided.
Shoshana, should they suspend Sarah Palin and Mike Huckabee, do you think?
Well, it's interesting that Fox believes that they're not getting closer to running for president, and they do believe that Newt and Santorum are, so maybe they know something that we don't.
When the president does something like this, he does it for a calculated political reason.
People that he wants to come out to vote next Tuesday that might stay home, that are not fired up, as you see the Tea Parties are the younger people that are going to watch The Daily Show tonight.
Wouldn't most politicians die for this?
I think so. It reaches so many people that are not politically attuned, people that are. And I think that this is a Palin that we haven't seen in a long time. This is a Sarah Palin that really I haven't seen since before the campaign.
We all know, Shoshana, that on election eve, when the McCain camp conceded, that Governor Palin did want to say a few words, but they wouldn't let her. Now, you guys got the actual written speech?
We exclusively obtained the victory speech and the concession speeches.
So they had two speeches.
Yes.
Sarah Palin did.
It was written by a McCain speechwriter, and she tweaked it, so it's definitely in her own words. And the victory speech, we think, is especially interesting because it is a whole different world with John McCain as president.
You can't just have a camera and not an editorial presence, because then you can't be sure of what the video is saying.
They said, we're not going to send a camera if you don't let a producer in there. No way, you're not going to have those pictures of them shaking hands. It's not going to go anywhere. And then they relented.
I miss her a lot.
Patricia Riley is talking about her sister, Lorraine Lee, killed on September 11th in the World Trade Center. Monday, the city began a project to sift through hundreds of cubic yards of material at Fresh Kills landfill for possible human remains of World Trade Center victims. Although Riley recovered her sister's purse, no remains were ever identified.
It would help my mother, to give my mother some peace, that she was able to do the right, to be able to receive Lorraine's remains, be able to bury her.
We are not going to walk away from our obligation to do anything that is reasonable and practical and affordable to recover and identify any remains that might be there.
But for Riley and other families, this sifting operation is not enough. Diane and Kurt Horning lost their 26-year-old son, Matthew. They sued the city to move the material that was brought from Fresh Kills, wanting it buried in another spot at the landfill away from trash. They lost both the case and an appeal, but are considering another to the United States Supreme Court. The Hornings went to Fresh Kills themselves and recovered items that they believe belong to victims, including keys clearly labeled World Trade Center, a credit card with a victim's name on it, and a watch.
We truly believe that in those first 40 days they missed a lot.
The city wouldn't respond directly to the family's concerns, but stressed that the sifting of this new material shows that they are fulfilling their promise to the families to try to identify as many World Trade Center victims as possible using the latest technology. At Fresh Kills, Shoshana Walsh, New York 1.
We have ABC here. Oh, good morning.
It's 6:30 a.m. in West Burlington, Iowa, and Rick Santorum is at his first event of the day, a radio interview while the sun is just starting to rise. He then hops into the back of a supporter's van. His advanced staffer had to run back to the hotel before jumping out to get to a 7:30 a.m. breakfast town hall.
Hi, how are you?
Right at the right time.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh,
He then gives his pitch to the morning crowd.
Our feeling is that if Iowa provides the spark, there's plenty of tinder on the ground in New Hampshire and South Carolina for this campaign to really catch fire.
It's one he will repeat over and over during this marathon day. Besides barnstorming Iowa, he still has low name recognition in the Hawkeye State.
How are you?
Just fine.
Rick Santorum.
Are you running?
We're sticking up
Oh, you're running for president.
Friendly, personable, and yes, funny.
Shoshana Walsh is over here from ABC, who's looking bleary-eyed.
The former Pennsylvania senator is nothing like the sometimes angry candidate he seems on TV.
I get, wound up and passionate about things, but I'm not angry.
His 20-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, is often by his side on the trail. She tries to make sure her dad sleeps and eats.
We always try and pray for the families of the other candidates, especially.
Santorum thinks the next and final boomlet will be his, and that momentum will bring him victory on January 3rd.
Would I have liked to have had the boomlet? Sure. Would I have liked to have had the opportunity? Sure. The best time to get that is when it matters, when people start voting.
It's traditional for every candidate that wants to win the caucuses to hit the state hard. But this time, it's only Santorum, holding 6, 7, 8, sometimes 9 events a day.
We'll see whether whether campaigns have changed and whether Iowa's changed. And I think we're a pretty good test case on that.
This event at a Godfather's Pizza in Knoxville, Iowa, marks Senator Santorum's 7th event of the day and the 13th hour. It's a breakneck pace, but he thinks it's the key to winning the caucuses.
We need a lot of help in, and we're getting it.
Then the candidate walks back into the night to go back to his hotel and do it all over again. In Knoxville, Iowa, Shoshana Walsh, ABC News.
Fear God, tell the truth, and make money.
That is Steve Deace's motto, a conservative evangelical talk radio host here in Des Moines, Iowa. He's controversial, no doubt about that, speaking out against homosexuality, abortion, and on most nights, Mitt Romney. And to Deace, it won't matter if he's the GOP nominee.
To me, it's not so much about beating Obama, because the reality is if we just replace Obama with another big government politician, it doesn't change anything. You know, I don't think the unborn baby's any less dead because the Republican killed it. I don't think my money's any less stolen because the Republican took it.
But he's not just another guy ranting into his microphone. In 2008, Deace used his drive time slot to pummel Romney night after night and promote Mike Huckabee, who went on to win the caucuses even though Romney dumped $10 million into this state.
I don't really view myself as a leader. I really view myself, if anything, I'm an amplifier.
With national ambitions on his mind, he now has a nationally syndicated show. But with the increased profile, he left drive time to go to prime time.
And some of you probably have never heard of me before until yesterday.
And now potential caucus goers can't listen to Deace drive home from work every night. His influence may have waned, but he's still being wooed.
I would say that, I talk on a regular basis with people who would either like me to endorse them or would like me to endorse their candidate.
Steve Deace says he's likely to endorse sometime between now and Christmas. One person we know he won't back is Mitt Romney. But even he, like many GOP caucus goers in this state, is still undecided.
You would ask me for the straw poll, I would have said Ron Paul. You would have asked me 6 weeks ago, I would have said Rick Santorum. You would have asked me a month ago, as I watched Newt Gingrich take a lot of the issues, I'd have said him. If you were to ask me today, I'd probably say Michelle Bachmann.
With Steve, what you see is what you get.
And what you get is exactly what's on his mind, especially about caucus politics.
I want to make sure that the candidates get a thorough vetting, almost to the point that they don't ever want to come back to Iowa again.
In Des Moines, Iowa, Shoshana Walsh, ABC News. Do you have any plans to run for your former seat?
My plan is to enjoy this great parade.
Former Congressman Vito Fossella isn't denying the buzz that continues to surround him about whether he will jump into the race for his old seat. After recent reports claimed he is still mulling it over, New York One asked Fossella his intentions at the Great Kills Memorial Day Parade.
Are you behind the rumor and speculation that you may run?
I don't know. I'm very humbled and touched and blessed that I was able to represent the people of Staten Island and Brooklyn for all these years.
Fossella did not seek re-election in 2008 after drunk driving arrest revealed he had a second family in Virginia. There are already 2 Republicans in the race for the 13th congressional district. One of them will take on Congressman Michael McMahon in the November election, Michael Grimm and Michael Allegretti. But some local Republicans, like State Senator Andrew Lanza, are just fueling the speculation.
It's very simple for me. Vito has served in Congress. He's got a great record. The people know what he did for this district.
Although Great Kills is clearly Fossella country, residents on the parade route had mixed opinions about whether he should enter the race.
I don't see why any personal issues should have to go with public issues.
I think it would be just as well to let it be the way it is.
Grimm was also at the parade. If Fossella jumps in, Grimm says it won't affect his campaign.
We went into the race expecting a primary, so nothing on our end changes at all. We're running a primary. We intend to win.
McMahon was also on the parade route, but wouldn't talk politics.
Today's not about politicking. Today we honor those men and women who put on the uniform of our armed services and gave their lives for this country.
The days are dwindling for Pasella to make a decision. Nominating petitions start circulating in mid-June. In Great Kills, Shoshana Walsh, New York 1.